Welcome back to M3 Millennial Money Management, where we get back into our discussions on subscription and not to live a mundane, boring life. So that's why I wanted to segue into subscriptions. You know, there's so many subscriptions that people have, and they don't realize the amount of subscriptions they have. It just automatically deducts, and either you using it less and still paying for it, or you're not using it at all and forgot that it comes out, because they're just taking out these small incremental costs, like less than $10. A lot of times people ignore that.
Yep, that $9.99 is a bitch.
Yep,
until you got 5 of them a month.
Exactly.
Now, Mike, I wanted to talk about Apple Pay.
Okay.
Because I was a little on the fence. I was like, Apple, you know. So I did it because that shit was convenient, and I'm like, usually convenience is bad, but in this case, I really didn't. There's not a lot of downside because it shows you as when you do a purchase, you get a notification. And as you do and it's the same thing. You get a notification in the store and, a cardless, basically you have a recurring subscription. For example, I probably will cancel it at some point in the future, but right now I still have the premium LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
And the premium LinkedIn just gives me, and I can search who I want. I can follow. I get like a lot more things than like a regular account.
Right.
And of course, when I'm job hunting, it's useful. But at this point,
hell yeah.
I'm pretty much I'm locked into this current gig, and I don't see myself job hunting in a while.
Right.
But
right.
It's like a probationary. Yeah, let me hold on to it for like 90 days, whatever. So probably into 2019, I'll do it. But I get a notification to remind me, like, okay, I still got it. So over this next month, let me evaluate it. And then probably 2 months from now, boom. So that in itself is so powerful because I never forget, like I'm constantly reminded of. Now, unfortunately, you can kind of get desensitized to certain information because it's kind of like, it's kind of like, how do you process all of your purchases?
Right. So
when you say card, purchase, you want to make sure you're not just just too much data, too much information, but it is so helpful to see that.
I like it because it tells me who the retailer is. So if I'm not, used to seeing a retailer, because sometimes I do an online one, and the online place that I purchased from isn't the actual site that I was on. But they tell you, you're going to see a payment on your of blah, blah, blah. And if you miss that, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then you go back and be like, I got it from that site.
Yeah, so it's going to prompt you to check. It's going to prompt you to investigate and be like, for American Express, I like it. They have one feature to where, before you do you can obviously escalate something, but you can also just flag it to be like, let me know when it's processes. It's almost like gas, where they put like $100 hold on your card, but it'll process as like 10, 15, whatever, how much money you put on it.
Right.
So you can like flag it just to see like, okay, here's how much, blah, blah, blah. And, those kind of features are just, it just helps you not be don't get in that position where you just do it and forget it, because that's what they bank on. Insurance companies, all of them, they just want you to reoccurring, and then that's why they increase your shit.
So because I got a lot of that too, based on my like I got a website, and then I have my podcast hosting, and I know that as long as I continue to do it at the rate that I'm doing, that's the ones that I'm going to have. And since it's a business, it's to write off at the end of the year. So I don't see those. But all those little extras, like to your point, the LinkedIn, I'm even thinking about getting rid of Hulu, because everything I see, it's okay. I don't see that many TV shows anymore. There's just things that I got to start reducing that I'm doing every month.
Yeah.
But now I get the notifications, to your point, but until you actually mentioned it, I was kind of like, you know what? I need to start looking at this shit.
So, Mike, before you get into it, let me tell you how I did my subscription math for my phone.
Okay.
Because I was like, so I was a good big brother. I gave my 8 to my sister because she had like a cracked phone. It was just shitty, and iPhones, yeah,
Get a good
they
color.
love. Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of fucking cracked iPhones around here.
Yes, they are.
They can't fucking cut you. So I was like, no, I can't have that. So I just gave her the 8 because it was a great device. And so when I get the XS, I'm like, well, what do I do? Do I spend $1,000 at once? No. Do I go through T-Mobile? Because no, their promo was shitty. They really didn't have one.
Right.
So I'm like, I might as well just go through Apple because at least it's fucking unlocked.
Yep.
So since my sister's with T-Mobile, I gave her that. That was no problem. She just put in her SIM card. I put in my SIM card for the XS, and boom. Now I did the credit check. So it's essentially a loan that I'm paying back at 0% APR.
Yep.
Like, okay, that's like $50 a month, I think, for the plan I have, because it's like the phone plus Apple Care, some other whatever. It's that one, whatever that one is. Deft, Apple Care, and all that shit. So I was paying for OnStar because I tried it, I liked it, and this was we had just moved over here, and you've been to the house.
Yeah.
We didn't, but as at this point, everything's been cool. Things, and I think it's just due to the car itself. A car thief's first choice is not my car. So I'm like, I don't need this shit. If I get fucked up, then I just get fucked up. But I had the high end plan, so that took away a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the student Wall Street Journal, and that was like a couple of dollars a month. And I don't think I mentioned it on this podcast. I don't even mention it on Repo. But Wall Street Journal, it's alright. I was mildly disappointed. Like, I thought there was just all this hard hitting business news and really the analysis.
Right.
But it was, especially the comment section was just so indicative of the reader base.
Okay.
I'm like, wow. So actually, I think the Financial Times or Bloomberg is better. But for now, I'm not paying for any new subscription. So those two in itself saved me like almost like 80% of just the iPhone of what I'm paying for it now. So in other words, what I'm saying is, instead of just adding to it, I tried to do as much as I could to have it be a net zero. I think I canceled something else, I forget. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? Like, why would I add to my monthly cost if I can just keep things the same?
So do you have the cost for Apple Music?
No, I got to support
Tidal. Right?
Tidal. Yep. Yeah, I got to support that. Mm-hmm. So I do the $9.99 a month, and I use it heavily. So yeah, I do use that. Like, I have the T-Mobile. I think it was T-Mobile or somebody got the free Pandora Plus. I still don't use that often. I still can't use Pandora like I want to I use Tidal more often.
Okay, so I got that, but I got a family plan that I got like 3 or 4 people on for like $12.
That's a great deal per person. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, if I got $12 and everybody I got I think up to 3 to 4. My wife is on it. My granddaughter's on it, so they all can just unlimited and go from that. So it's just a family plan. Except for doing $9.99 per person, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So it kind of worked out. So I started weighing all of that.
You got me thinking, yeah.
Yeah, because see, and again, if you got a plan with someone, then it's easier to say, how do I get a discounted plan? So if that's 12, that's maybe $6 and something per. That works out a lot more. And it gets everything.
Well, Apple has those exclusives. Like, Apple has the Chronic. I actually had to end up buying the Chronic. I'm like, damn.
Really?
I don't mind it. Well, they don't. Dre, he has an exclusive with Apple for that.
Oh, okay.
Not 2001, but the Chronic, the first
Chronic. One. Yep.
And you gotta, if you gotta have that, you gotta have it accessible. Mm-hmm. It's not even. I can't even stream it from Tidal just because it is what it is. I guess to make that deal. I was like, man, that's some bullshit.
So
I gotta have the Chronic.
right. So and I had to have Tribe Called Quest anthology, not just the best hits. You know, I wanted each album. So I knew I can stream each and every one of them, and I had to have that. Because there's some of them, you know, I don't want to put a CD in and listen to it because who the hell does that anymore? But they had all of that, and I was just, you know, after I saw the HBO hip hop thing, I wanted to, not HBO, Netflix. I wanted to start hearing it again, and I was like, man, I missed that. Then I was like, let me see if they have it. I was like, yes,
boom, you got it,
just like that. So some subscriptions are actually
and that's a
added.
great one. That's a great one to have. I'm not gonna lie, like even for me, I just one person. The value is if I listen, one album ranges from like $8.99 to like $15.99, depending on the artist. So if I listen to, you know, if I listen to so many albums per year, and it's like the value is just ridiculous, and it's, you know, versus comparing to the cost of buying each individual album.
Yep.
So from a music subscription perspective, I'm really okay with that one. I probably will keep I'll probably keep that one in the long haul. I want to support Jay-Z though when Tidal, but so I'm gonna see what discounts they had before trying to jump ship.
Yeah, Apple Music. And I was on it for a while, you know, because you know I was the Apple guy, so I was still debating because I was a Pandora at first, and then I tried the Apple, and then I kept them both, and then Pandora started being really, really repetitive.
I don't know what's going on with Pandora was so great like 8 years ago, like when it first came out.
Yeah, they was leading.
Felt like they but just the actual what they were trying to do, like you know, because I know you hate Too Short, right?
I don't hate them. I just won't listen to them.
But I love Too Short from a level of at least from the production, especially at the time. So some of those West Coast beats and all, like there's one song I like don't, you know, so don't. So when I'm like, okay, select this song as my radio. I want to hear similar songs, similar music like this, because I know you know, Pandora should be able to break down this song at such a high level.
Yep.
You know, the bass, the beats, the raps, all that. And it's like, I think it's still going off popularity. I don't know what it's going off of, but it like old Pandora would just say, hey, the technology says this is a song. These are songs that sound similar to what you selected. So I don't know if my shit is just fucked up. I need to make a new one. But I'm like, man, y'all, it's not doing what the technology is supposed to do or what it did originally. It's like y'all going off human, but people, I don't know.
So a lot of them go off. If you listen to this song, these are the other songs that other people listen to. Adds that. I didn't want that. I want something that sounds like this.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they sonically they fucked it up. Like I wanted to sonically sound the same. Gotcha. Not like, oh, you know, niggas like you're like, bro, I don't care what this zip code likes. Yo, you know, real Texas music, real Cali music, real Atlanta music. Like, no. Nah.
So that type of subscription I think is value add.
Yes.
For the house, I don't have like an ADT or anything, but I do have my Ring on both ends of the house. I have internal cameras on the first floor because if not, they're gonna bring a ladder and come to the second floor. You know, and until I find out that's happening in the neighborhood, I don't think that's an issue. So I cut that off. But I did have a service that's I think is $6 a month that records more than I think 30 days.
Oh, I thought it was $3 a month. Did they increase it?
It could be. Oh,
okay.
But I brought it as a package for the year so I can get the discounted and not just do it month to month.
Like I got you. We just went ahead and bought the devices, the same thing outright. I don't know if we're doing the we may be doing it, but I'm not sure. But it was cheap enough to where it wasn't that big a deal if we did.
Exactly. And it's value added because with the Ring, they got the little neighborhood thing. So you can look that up and no, in the neighborhood next to us, some bullshit is happening. And then there's 2 houses down. These people are throwing your packages around. So, I'll wait around and be like, yo, if you throw my shit down, I'm going to have a problem. So that's another value to say, if you're part of this neighborhood, you can see what people put out there.
And I'll just do a quick plug for Nextdoor, the app. Like, don't be part of the politics because people like to complain out there. But I love to. I get a lot of my neighborhood information on there.
It's good
in terms of like when you talk about the bullshit, just because packages and this or that, and a lot of people do post footage from their Ring camera,
right?
Or whatever, and that's so I do recommend people go ahead and do it. But of course, I recommend people do it and then they get hacked. I'm like, oh man. So, I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm actually, and that's another reason I want to do this subscription thing. We got to get to the point to where you got to really think about your digital footprint.
True.
Because it's like, I wouldn't have thought that, like, could you imagine how many divorces are going to happen because of the Marriott? Like, wait a minute. You were staying here?
Yeah, what's going on? And somebody recorded you because they have, guess what? They got cameras in the Marriott filming people in their shower and shit. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. What the fuck?
Yeah, looking like Kareem Hunt, the fucking NFL. People, when people aren't being recorded, a lot of shit goes on. Oh, there's video? What? Like,
whatever you do.
So yeah, I mean the breaches are just like, it's a little it's worrisome. So that's also another reason to go through all your subscriptions, and if you don't need it, and just cancel it, delete the account, and move on, man. Limit your digital footprint.
So one of the things that I'm not sure if I'm going to pick back up on it, but I think it's clear because they broke into the Wells Fargo accounts and they said, we apologize, we're going to give you clear for a whole year. And they send me alerts and say, hey, look, here's your alert. Did you do this? Did you apply for something right here? And they give me alerts throughout the year. And I was like, this is pretty cool, because if somebody trying to
actively do some bullshit,
it'll come up. But then when they told me it's like $29 a month, I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? So
yeah, I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not worried about people opening $100,000.
No. But I thought it was really, really convenient to have that, because that's pretty cool if you have assets that big that you really need to be monitoring and going from that.
Yeah, then for sure.
Yeah,
but
no.
But this is it's another podcast, and it made me think. And again, building wealth is boring. That's my mantra, but it's necessary.
But necessary, yes.
One thing that's boring is setting up trusts in LLCs and companies. But if you put a lot of assets in a certain place and have it set up with a certain governance and control, you yourself can only be worth, we'll just say $50,000 in the bank. But all of your assets and, your various trusts and companies could be in the multi-millions. So it's kind of like for those, having things in your name, in other words, just may not, homes and all that stuff is sometimes it's just better to do it that way. Obviously, there's the taxation, and again, if some bullshit happens, it's easy to seize. The government loves to seize people's houses
quickly.
They love doing that shit. Yeah, quickly.
Yep.
Whereas, comparatively, it's a little harder to seize a company, or usually you got to do lawsuits or get documents. It's more involved. So if you have it like in a trust or company or something else, then it's another layer of protection. Obviously, you own the company or have it, but you have that layer. So I do recommend people look into that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty worth it.
Again, you got to meet with the lawyer, drop the documents. It's not sexy, it's not boring, but people who do that are going to be better off. It's just basically the building wealth is doing things other people are not willing to do.
Yep.
So whether it's being disciplined or, working hard, or I get like for me, if I want to really go after, pursuing writing and, like the comedy stuff and all this, is like I have to I got to work on it basically like every day. And that's so far, I've been pretty good at doing that. Like it hasn't felt like work, and that's what I enjoy about it. Like
So
I just get in the zone
that's
and
the
do
big
it.
thing, though. If you laboring to do it, then you shouldn't be doing it, especially if that's not something you enjoy. Because I would take the time to do something that I enjoy, not take the time to do something that's going to be like, oh my God, let me do this. No, no. My writing and all of that, I love doing. But if I don't get into the mindset of stop, get your creative thoughts down, and go, I can't start. I just can't. But
Well, and that's what I'm learning, and fortunately, I'm getting to like I cranked out like over a week. Like I really cranked out like 5, 6 scripts, and it was almost like one a day average. And then the next week I did a couple, and I was able to really be disciplined, and I was really pleased with okay, like I'm purposely trying to be disciplined and make sure I'm getting this done, and I'm getting it done.
so you
I'm
doing screenplays or actual stories
like
or
scripts. So
also
basically,
scripts? Gotcha.
it's kind of like, let's say I just do something crazy and funny. Like for example, the last one, like one of the last tape reads I did was it was it was like a political themed one,
Mm-hmm.
and we jumped back to two different meetings. And in one meeting, we had Republicans talking about you know cutting taxes and being racist, and another one,
Damn.
liberals. Yeah, we had liberals talking about we had a protest, so they protest by posting shit on Twitter and being passive aggressive. So I'm making fun of both sides. And then the liberals they summon Jesse Jackson and he teleports. It's crazy.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so you know what I'm saying. So it's comedy. You know what I'm saying. And it's
Satire, comedy. Yeah.
of course, yeah. I try to have a message there.
So I
Um,
want to get back to you. You was talking about wealth wise, and we were talking about house auctions or property auctions.
Very important.
And when you say building wealth, investment, that was really interesting because I had two people that I work with that's been working with that, but they've been in Alabama and they've been
Because it's cheaper.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the rules are different. And he's trying to buy property here in Georgia, and he said the difference between the way Alabama runs it is the county rules are so much different in Georgia as opposed to Alabama. You only have to do certain things.
Mm.
So he said, except for assuming that this the way this goes, you need to really be looking at it. And what we're talking about is, you know, foreclosures or, people didn't pay their taxes on their homes and the bank takes them. And they're saying if you take these and pay the taxes off, you can own it, but you have to own it for so long before you can take over the property. And the level of details for that is something that most people look at, but they look
Mm-hmm.
at it going to the courthouse and bidding. And then what happens is that raises up the price. Whereby what he did, and he was telling me I need to look into better, is find out before the auctions and the bidding starts to see if you can say, hey, before you start bidding in that, can I purchase that right now? And they was
Mm-hmm.
like, yep, nobody really called in to say they wanted to do that. Okay, you got it. So now you got the next 4 years that you got to hold on to that property. You
I mean,
got
that's
to,
fine,
yeah,
especially if you want it as a rental property. That's
exactly.
perfect.
Yep. But
And
but you jump on that,
but
and the
Mike,
biggest thing is really the any type of renovation. Go ahead.
I wanted to add in, and maybe I'm thinking from a risk management perspective. People we think about insurance, have insurance for certain things, but legal is another. That's a huge area of risk management.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're any investor, you should understand, especially when you're dealing with property, debt, or anything. Um, the rental laws, tenant laws, landlord laws, just real estate laws in general. just pay. Don't be an asshole. Pay for the money for for the lawyer. Get you a nice real estate attorney and someone who can help you just high level go over this. Especially some of the advice that people don't do. They try to be cheap and do their own lease, but then you get a tenant you can't evict because your lease doesn't have any clauses regarding the proper eviction clauses based on the county or state.
Absolutely.
So get go through a real estate professional, legal professional for the entire, life cycle of, hey, help me understand auction, what is the state and local rules? What are what's the deeds, just all that. Because, unless just don't, people have, they have their arrogance. I'm more than happy asking questions and trying to learn from somebody.
That's right.
Don't get ripped off, but when you're talking about buying land, buying a property, especially someone not you is living in there, yeah, you want to have the extra layer.
Yep, absolutely. And I was concerned with that because I wanted to go see the property, see what it needed. He always said, how long has the bank actually had it, as opposed to they just got it, and then he said in Alabama you got to wait 6 years of ownership. But if the bank had it for 2 years, when you purchase it, you only got 4 years left. And
okay.
He said so it's a period that you got to have ownership, and not you personally, but after it's taken over, there's a certain amount of time. And he said, but I need to be looking at how Georgia distinguishes that, because he said a lot of the county rules are pretty different.
And that's important because, in other words, if you think like, hey, maybe I can't afford this, or like, in other words, if you don't have a tenant in there and you don't think you can afford the mortgage, you really got to think, okay, can this property have a tenant in there for an entire 4, 5, 6 years or whatever? So that's a huge thing to keep in mind.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting, and when you brought that to me, I wanted to talk to some people who actually does it.
No, and that's so huge. I just want to go over that because that's so huge. Talk to people who've actually done it.
Yep.
And I know it sounds simple, but it's like, for example, for me, or just anybody, like I want to be an actress. I want to be a rapper. Blah blah blah. Like, have you talked? I want to be a producer. Have you talked to these people? What does it take? I would never tell anybody not to do it. But have you talked to somebody who's done it, or more importantly, doing present tense, doing it?
Right.
Because so everybody is just like, everybody has these goals of, I want to say superficial goals, but model this, that. And it's like, how do you expect to accomplish these goals? And I don't want to get into Black community versus other communities, but other communities is like, okay, yeah, they embrace the boring. It's like, go to school, yeah, get married, yes, blah blah blah. We're gonna help you with cars and houses, and it's a cycle of a middle, upper, or just upper class, middle, upper middle, or just upper class. And it's just like, yeah, because not every, I'm not saying everybody, but people like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and blah blah blah. It's like, how do you expect to do these things? Whereas in their households or other people's households, they're following a template. And yes, that template is not sexy, but it works. It's a formula. It's a formula that works.
And that's the issue, that some people don't think in order to accomplish things, they got to work for it, because they see certain people that says, wow, that was easy. No, it wasn't easy. You just seeing the end product. And when you see the end product, most people say, wow, he's so casual with it. I can be able to do that.
But sometimes it is that easy, relatively speaking. Like, hey, but I'm talking from a level of parents grooming their kids for the success, making sure they go to after school programs and this or that.
That's not easy. So you saying that's easy. That's not easy when parents don't know that. That's not easy to commit your children to have a mindset to continue to do that.
I guess, fair enough. I guess what I'm saying is, as the child. So if all you got to do is commit yourself and show up and do these things, and it's like, yeah, do it. It's, so I'm just saying that from that perspective of, blah blah blah. It's like, really, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right,
just
right.
it's some that gets annoying, and but again, that's why I'm against cool people and nerds to a certain degree,
Wow.
because on the nerd side, it's just like, you interact with people in the workplace, and it's like, man, it's just not interesting at all. So it's just like, Jesus.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
Well, not really, but I deal with people as they present themselves, because there's certain nerds that you just can't deal with because they're so introverted that if you don't meet them where they are, you're gonna bore yourself.
That's true, because I'm still new, so I'm not gonna present my full whatever until, I'm being I'm on ice.
Mm-hmm,
You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? I'm thawing out, but I'm still a piece of chicken that was in the freezer forever. It's gonna take a while for me to thaw out and, like, okay,
Right, right.
get on you guys' level. But I'm uh, and basically it's just like buying houses and all that. Like, there's steps to things.
Mm-hmm.
If you focus and follow steps, and it's corny, but yeah, there's nothing you can't do. But it's like, yeah, if you want a six pack and muscles, you have to go to the gym frequently.
Mm-hmm.
More important, consistently. So it's just, from that level, uh, that's my little pet peeve there. I just think people aren't willing to get the expertise of others and ask other people, like, hey, and again, that's why I have the LinkedIn. Like, here's a little hack I do. I follow a bunch of executives, private equity people, this or that, and so when they comment or something, I'll like something and blah blah blah. Like, okay, I see it. So I just see what people in positions that I want to be in and that I respect. Like, okay, cool. What are they thinking and liking and talking about?
Right,
So I use LinkedIn how people use Instagram. Like,
right.
I'm literally on LinkedIn. That's part of my workday routine. I have
Mm-hmm.
it up every day, and I'm just scroll and just check it out. And you but I guess maybe that's how I'm maniacal in terms of building wealth. I want to understand, for those who are already in those positions,
Right.
what do they think and care about?
So I do my LinkedIn for leadership. So I follow
I
those
see a little
leaders.
post, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Be like, bro, okay.
But I like those because then I got leaders saying, "Hey, I saw what you posted," or "I appreciate that you appreciate what I posted," and send little messages here back and forth. Then you build a network. So when it's
Mm-hmm.
time, you can reach out and say, "Hey, you know what? You know what kind of leader I am. You know what kind of thoughts that I." Now I'm looking for something to advance myself, and then I got this network to say, I like this guy. I've had
Mm-hmm.
conversations with him. There
He's
you
not a
go.
douche.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he's proven that consistently, because what he's been putting on and what he commented on is consistently the type of leader that I want to be with, or I want to work for me. And I'll be
yeah.
like, yep, that's what I got to present.
But again, maniacal. But
Yep.
and LinkedIn is available to everybody. And it's like, why?
People don't people don't get it though. I got
You know what I'm
guys
saying?
who's in their late 40s who's never posted on LinkedIn and been looking for a job for the last 5 to 10 years. And I
But I
was
get
like,
it.
what the hell is wrong with you? That's why you don't
Don't
have anything.
don't post, but keep it updated. Keep a nice headshot.
Nope.
Go to events. Add people.
Yeah. Because when you do that, that's how you network. You should network before you look for a job.
Clearly, so
Don't network because you lost your job.
and that's why I'm so adamant with that's, and I think just going back to the beginning, I feel so, I guess I wanted to travel a little bit more, do a little bit more of those things, because I have done that. So that's how I got these two jobs. That's why I'm so I know I'm fortunate, but at the same time, I put in the work up front so
Absolutely.
that I'm like, if I'm in that position, boom. And then the way I landed into this current position, it was literally seamless. And I was like, my last day was a Friday. My first day was that Monday. And but yeah, and it was just because I was focused. And I got the opportunity from LinkedIn. Dude hit me up. Hey, what's going on? I'm like, hey,
what's up with you?
All right. And not, wink, wink. Boom. Resignation letter. So
I'm out of here. Right.
Yeah, it's just like, you use the tools, and because I've done that to that level, and it just I wanted a particular position, and because I got it, it's just like I think now that I went through that, I think I can apply it to the writing thing. Like, okay, I know exactly how to articulate myself when looking for opportunities now better than I did previously.
Yeah. So you've learned from failure, and that's what most people don't get out of failure. When you fail, and it's not you physically failing, something didn't work out.
Clearly.
But
there was a glitch in the matrix.
And you was able to recognize that and say, well, not going down that road no more.
Mm-hmm.
But let me pick up from this in order to say, I'm not just going to take that first thing flowing. I'm going to look for something specific. And and it feels a lot better when you walk into something and go, wow, okay, I'm comfortable with this.
Because otherwise, you're just going to be in a position where other people dictate your success or what you want, your environment. And if it's ass, what you gonna do? You're gonna do nothing. You want.
But don't get it twisted either.
Mm-hmm.
It can change. Because I walked into a situation that it was very, very progressive. Very. And I enjoyed using my brain because they challenged me to say, you're smarter than most, so we're going to push you to do the things to work your brain. But we're going to allow you to make these projects up. We're going to allow you to recreate things. We're giving you that option. But we are not going to allow you to just come up with an idea and walk away. We're going to say, if you're going to come up with the idea, you're going to follow it through, you're going to partner with these people, and you're going to do this. And it helped me to learn how to do more informal influencing as opposed to managing or just straight leadership. They was like, nope, you got to do a lot more, but we're going to help you along with that.
A lot of the finesse, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what they helped me with. But then the new regime came in and it changed. That doesn't mean it can't come back, but some people give up and just run. Things change. It's it's a season. The sun will come out tomorrow, but sometimes you're going to be in the dark. So understand, again, this too shall pass.
And I just want to stress to your point, it's like you're dealing in that circumstance. You're like, man, this isn't what I wanted. And it's just like waiting it out is just, hope. I won't say it's a chore, but, it's not necessarily fun. It's not necessarily like, oh, this is my favorite thing in the world. And it just goes back to the point of work and doing the right thing is a lot of times is boring. Volunteering, sometimes it's fun, but it's like, it depends what you're doing. But, it's volunteering. It's doing, I'll just use the word minutia. The minutia of these things in every waking moment is just not going to be a exciting home run. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be full of, I don't want to use, what's the word I'm thinking of? Not mediocre, not just, maybe mundane is the word I'm thinking of.
Yeah, mundane is
Mundane isn't bad, because mundane, if something is boring, then that means things are working, things are safe, things are, because
not necessarily. That's why I would rather use the word mundane than boring. Because if it's boring, I don't want to do it. I'm done with boring. I have no reason to jump into boring. But if it's mundane, it's because it has to be done in order
you get what
to
I'm saying,
do that.
Though, right?
Yeah. That's why, I got you. But certain things,
it's just like
the volunteering.
But like women, a woman getting her hair done is just, it's not, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure you've been there. You went with all. It's just like, but they do it. When I go to the barbershop, you know, say what's up. But the actual act of getting my hair cut, yeah, it's relatively mundane. But I do it just to, you know, I need to keep a neat appearance. You know what I'm saying?
But you get something from it.
And that's kind of like where I'm trying to get to, where, you know what? Mm-hmm. Building, if I don't do these things, I won't be in a position where I want to do. So I'm just trying to like flip the narrative to say, you know what? You know, mundane doesn't have to be bad.
Yeah, mundane, but boring, you need to eliminate.
Sometimes it's hard to eliminate, bro. You know?
True.
Especially at work. You just be like, okay, this is what we're doing? All right.
Yeah, that's true. But what are we doing to just say, as this year went by, life is boring when you're trying to do the right thing?
I think you have to, what I do now is I try to always think of, it's almost like when you get in a relationship, you should get to a point to where you always think of the other person too. Like you should include, you're not just thinking of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. You know, like, okay, well, they like this, blah, blah, blah. You know, when you're at the store, oh, they like blah, 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 you know. So now I just try to think about it, using that same example, but just like, okay, there's what I want to do, and then there's mundane. I'm in a relationship. I'm dating mundane. I'm marrying mundane.
Damn.
Because the mundane things are what build wealth. And just what is the mundane thing that I need to do that's going to help me build wealth or take things to the next levels? For example, for everything that I've written, I can't really afford to do copyright. So I'm going to just do the cheaper option and do the Writers Guild. So even things like that, like if I haven't accomplished that goal, and again, it's going to be it's tedious. I got to put everything in a file, put it all together correctly, fill out the, you know, blah, 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 and do it. Just knock it out. It's not going to be exciting. But if that's like a poor man's copyright, because if I submitted it there and blah, 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 it's like, okay, I have proof that I created the work. I did the work. So when we put it online or whatever, it's like, boom, this is my proof that I'm the original author.
Right.
So it's kind of important if I really want to do it. But at the same time, you know, it's like shit that's good for you is just never not, you know what I'm saying? Even in nature, like spinach. I don't say, but you know, vegetables, they're just not versus vegetables. Like, yeah, but you know what tastes better than vegetables? Pork, ribs.
No, it doesn't.
Beef, ribs? Really?
Yeah. Not really.
Have you had?
Not really. Beef ribs is too much work.
I'm saying, well, I got a grill, so I can just you seal them in foil, let them cook, and it just turns out delicious.
Yeah, but you know, why go through all that? Just put a petite sirloin on that bitch.
What I'm saying is, it's just like,
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying. I know. But it's just like, man. So I'm really trying to get to the mindset of embrace it now. So there's no woulda, coulda, shoulda. And obviously we talked about this in past podcasts, but I guess I'm taking it to the level of just life in general now.
Tune in next time when we finally get our hands and thoughts around the electric cars, something we've been trying to get to for a little while, and finishing the year out of our millennial money management. See you next time.